Day 4 of flash flooding for the southwest, but also a lot of high wind for the northern plains, midwest, and the northeast for October 12th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Meteorologist Pew, and there's a lot of heavy rain around the Phoenix area, but especially south of it. And we're going to see these continued scattered showers pretty much throughout the day, but this is going to diminish throughout the night. Though by tomorrow morning and afternoon, we're going to see a resurgence of isolated cells from Arizona to places like Utah. And so if we look at 500 millibars midway to the troposphere, we still have this ridge and we have this trough, though it's become very broad and leaning more to the east. So we still have that southwesterly flow, and we're having remnants of tropical storm Raymond entering into places like Arizona and New Mexico today. And speaking of the tropics, for both the Atlantic and the Pacific, for once we actually don't have a single tropical storm or hurricane. But the one thing that we do have are extratropical cyclones, which are basically really strong low pressure systems. So we're actually going to have another one coming down from the Pacific Northwest going straight down to places like California by tomorrow. And so for today, places like Washington State, Oregon are probably going to see some showers, but we're actually going to see a marginal flash flood risk in the Bay Area in California, and then a little bit more further south the next day. So from Northern California to Central California by tomorrow morning, definitely expect some isolated to scattered cells of heavy rain. Now speaking of really strong and big low pressure systems, we actually have one in the border of Manitoba and North Dakota. And still looking at 500 millibars, we can see that we have a negatively tilted trough, and it has a lot of strong shear. And with the help of this trough and this ridge bringing southwesterly flow, that's why we're seeing a lot of warmer air going into the eastern Rockies, into the plains, and a little bit to the Midwest. But that's going to quickly dissipate, especially for the places like northern plains and upper Midwest, because if we look down on the surface, we have a really strong low pressure system around the Manitoba area. But along with that, we're going to have a cold front, and that's going to be sweeping through today. But nonetheless, this low pressure is very deep, which is going to increase the pressure gradient from the northern plains, Midwest, and even down to the southern plains. And with this, because we're increasing the pressure gradient, we're increasing the surface winds. So places in the northern plains and even in eastern Rockies could probably see wind speeds up to 20 to 30 sustained mile-per-hour winds. And places from the Midwest all the way down to places like Texas, we can see probably 15 to 20 mile-per-hour sustained winds as well. And speaking of Texas through Oklahoma, there is an elevated fire risk where relative humidities this afternoon and evening are going to be from 25 to 30%. And with those 15 to 20 mile-per-hour wind speeds, it's a little concerning for fire. Now to the east coast, this low pressure system was predicted to go inland, but it didn't actually go inland, and this low pressure is just a little bit off the coast. Now while it didn't completely weaken, it is weakening. This low pressure system is above sea surface temperatures, where it is a lot cooler than way offshore. But at least for this afternoon, we're still going to see consistent rain from South Carolina to North Carolina, and we're going to see a lot more consistent rain for the northeast and mid-Atlantic throughout the entire day. But the most concerning thing is that we're going to have offshore winds up to 40 mile-per-hour sustained winds. So if you're near the shore, expect a lot of high winds and a lot of high waves.